Imagine losing everything you have, your home, your job, your loved ones, the ability to see, to walk, to read this. Feel the black, suffocating void of that loss. Hold it for a second. Now, open your eyes. Welcome to the best day of your life. This is not a threat. It is an invitation. It is the core of an ancient psychological tool so powerful and so counterintuitive that it has been deliberately practiced by the wisest minds for over 2 millennia. We live in an age of unprecedented abundance, yet we are drowning in a sea of dissatisfaction. We have more comfort, more convenience, and more access to information than emperors of old, yet we are more anxious, more depressed, and more ungrateful than ever. We are fixated on the next milestone, the next promotion, the next purchase, the next like, the next vacation. We are professional chasers, convinced that happiness is a destination we will arrive at once we acquire the next thing on our list. But it never is. The problem isn't our life, it's the lens we're looking through. We are suffering from a fundamental flaw in our programming, a psychological trap that ensures we are never satisfied. And the only way out is not to add more, but to subtract what we have, if only in our minds. This is the art of negative visualization, and it is the only gratitude hack you will ever need. Part 1. The Sickness of More and the Hedonic Treadmill. Why does the joy of a new car fade in 6 months? Why does a hard-won promotion feel like just a job after a year? Why does the person we couldn't live without now blend into the background of our daily lives? The answer is a psychological concept known as the hedonic treadmill or hedonic adaptation. Humans are brilliant survivors. Our brains are designed to adapt to new circumstances, good or bad, and return to a stable baseline of happiness. This is incredibly useful if you're living in the wilderness. It's a curse if you're living in modern civilization. When something wonderful happens, we get a raise, fall in love, buy our dream home. We get a temporary spike in happiness. We think, this is it, I've made it. But inevitably, the novelty wears off. The new reality becomes the new baseline. The new car is just the car. The amazing partner is just my partner. The dream home just has a mortgage and a lawn that needs mowing. We adapt. And once we've adapted, our focus shifts from gratitude for what we have to desire for what we don't. The treadmill starts moving again. This is why positive thinking and manifestation so often fail us. Chasing more good things is like trying to quench a thirst by drinking salt water. The more you get, the more you need to get just to feel the same. We see this contrast in its most stark and painful form when we compare our first world problems with the realities of others. We complain about a slow Wi-Fi connection, the barista getting our coffee order wrong, or a flight delay. We are steeped in a baseline of comfort so profound that tiny deviations feel like major catastrophes. Meanwhile, a refugee who has lost their country, their home, and their family finds a moment of profound joy in a clean blanket and a cup of hot soup. Their baseline has been so violently reset that the most basic elements of human dignity, food, shelter, safety, are sources of overwhelming gratitude. They don't need to practice gratitude. Their loss has made it their default state. The rest of us, insulated by our comfort, have to learn it. we have to hack our own adapted brains. Part 2. The Ancient Cure. Premeditatio Malorum. Long before modern psychology put a name to this phenomenon, the Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome had already diagnosed the disease and prescribed the cure. Philosophers like Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus were not dusty academics. They were high performers living in the thick of it. Seneca was the wealthiest man in Rome. Marcus Aurelius was its most powerful emperor. And Epictetus was a slave who won his freedom. They understood ambition, success, loss, and suffering from every possible angle. Their solution to the hedonic treadmill was a practice they called Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. In modern terms, we call it negative visualization. It is the deliberate, intentional practice of imagining that you have lost the things you value most. It is not about wallowing in misery or becoming a pessimist. It is a targeted, surgical strike against your own adaptation. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoics, gave this bracingly stark advice. When you are kissing your child goodnight, whisper to yourself, tomorrow you may die. Do the same for your wife and your friends. These are not dark omens. They are merely a recognition of the nature of reality. This sounds monstrous to our modern ears. Why would anyone think such a thing? But you are missing the point. Epictetus wasn't suggesting you become a cold, detached monster. He was teaching you how to be a fully present, fully loving father. By quietly acknowledging that this moment, this simple act of kissing your child, is fragile and not guaranteed, you cannot possibly take it for granted. You are not rushing through the bedtime routine while mentally checking your email. You are there. You are holding them, smelling their hair, feeling their warmth, and a wave of love and gratitude washes over you that is so potent it's heartbreaking. You have used the thought of future loss to generate an intense appreciation for the present. The Stoics applied this to everything. They would intentionally take a day to eat stale bread and water, even when their tables were full, to appreciate their next feast. They would walk through the city on a cold day without a cloak to appreciate the warmth of their own home. And they would, in their minds, practice losing it all. The Stoic exercise. Take a moment. Imagine your life without your partner. Not that they left you, but that you had never met them at all. That all the shared jokes, the quiet moments, the history you built simply didn't exist. How empty would your world feel? Now, imagine your job is gone. The paycheck, yes, but also the routine, the colleagues you complain about, the sense of purpose, even if you hate it. Imagine the panic of having nothing. Now, imagine your health is gone. The ability to walk to the kitchen, to take a deep breath, to see the faces of your family. Imagine that simple, effortless privilege is stolen from you. Now, open your eyes. Your partner is right there, or a text message away. Your job is waiting for you tomorrow. Your legs work. The problems you associated with them, your partner's annoying habits, your boss's stupid emails, the muscle ache from your workout are not problems. They are privileges. They are proof that you have these things in the first place. Part 3. The Science of Subtraction. If the ancient wisdom isn't enough, modern psychology has proven it. Researchers exploring gratitude have found a fascinating split. The common advice is to keep a gratitude journal, additive gratitude. You list 3 things you're grateful for: my family, my job, my dog. This is nice, and it works, but its effects are often mild and temporary. It quickly becomes a robotic checklist. But a far more powerful method is subtractive gratitude. In these studies, participants are asked to spend time vividly imagining and writing about what their life would be like if a specific positive event had never happened. What if I had never met my spouse? What if I hadn't gotten that scholarship? What if I had missed that train where I met my best friend? The results are explosive. Compared to the additive group, the subtractive group reports significantly higher levels of gratitude, happiness, and a desire to savor the present. Why? Because our brains are wired to be more motivated by the fear of loss than the prospect of gain. When you list what you're grateful for, you're just stating facts. When you imagine your life without something, you force your brain to simulate the pain of its absence. You are, for a moment, the refugee who has lost everything. And when you return to reality, you are the refugee who has just been given it all back. This is the psychological hack. You are resetting your own hedonic treadmill. You are reintroducing novelty to the things that have become mundane. You are making the old new again.
Part 4. The Proof. Messengers from the Other Side.
We shouldn't have to practice this. We should know it instinctively. But we are masters of denial. We live as if we are immortal, as if our lives are permanent fixtures. The only people who truly understand this without practice are those who have had the simulation become real. These are the people who have survived the unsurvivable. Talk to anyone who has lived through a near-death experience, a brutal car crash, a terrifying medical diagnosis, a house fire, a war. They all come back as changed people. They are messengers from a reality we ignore, and they all say the same thing. They don't come back talking about needing a bigger house or a faster car. They come back weeping with gratitude for the color of the sky, for the taste of tap water, for the sound of their children laughing, for the painfully ordinary, boring, magnificent gift of another day. They have been given the gift of radical gratitude because they stared into the abyss and the abyss stared back. They actually lost it all for a moment and then had it returned. A friend of mine survived a stage 4 cancer diagnosis that should have killed him. He told me, "Before I got sick, I was always chasing the next thing. I was a ghost in my own life. Now I savor traffic jams. I'm sitting in my car. I'm breathing. I'm not in a chemo chair. The sun is shining and music is playing. It's a miracle. I'm in a traffic jam, and I am the luckiest man in the world." These survivors are the living proof. They are what happens when negative visualization ceases to be an exercise and becomes a lived reality. The question is, do we really need to wait for a catastrophe to learn this lesson? Must we wait for the doctor's bad news, the policeman's knock, or the screech of tires to finally wake up? The Stoics would say no. That is an irresponsible way to live. We can get 90% of the wisdom without 100% of the trauma. We can use the power of our own minds to simulate the loss, and in doing so, spare ourselves the regret of a life taken for granted.
Part 5. Living with Impermanence, Ichigo Ichi, and The Last Time. Okay, so how do we integrate this into a life that isn't one of constant morbid fear? It's not about being afraid, it's about being present. Two concepts, one Japanese and one from modern mindfulness, make this practical. 1. Ichigo Ichie. This is a Japanese concept that translates to one time, one meeting. It stems from the tea ceremony, where every gathering is seen as a unique, unrepeatable event in time. This specific combination of people at this specific time in this specific place will never happen again. You will never have this exact coffee with your friend again. You will never have this exact family dinner again. You will never have this exact conversation with your child at this exact age again. Tomorrow, you will all be slightly different people. The mood will be different. The world will be different. When you fully embrace the spirit of Ichigo Ichie, you stop treating moments as disposable. You see every mundane interaction as the precious, fleeting, and unique event that it is. You listen more deeply. You look more closely. You are not killing time because you realize time is the one thing that is killing you. 2. The Last Time Mindfulness. This is the most actionable form of negative visualization. When you are doing something, especially something you do all the time, pause and gently remind yourself, this might be the last time. When you drop your child off at school, this might be the last time you do it. When you're arguing with your partner over something stupid, this might be the last conversation you ever have. When you call your parents, this might be the last time you hear their voice. When you walk your dog, this might be the last time you feel them pull on the leash. This is not to create a state of crippling anxiety. It is to create a state of profound priority. When you think, this might be the last time, does that stupid argument really matter? Or does it suddenly seem more important to stop, hold them, and say, I love you? Does rushing your child out the door matter? Or does it suddenly seem more important to stop, look them in the eye, and tell them to have a great day, engraving that moment in your memory? One day you will pick up your child for the last time, and you won't even know it. One day you will have your last normal dinner with your family. One day you will have your last boring day at work. The practice of the last time is not a prediction of doom. It is an injection of sacredness into the mundane. It transforms chores into acts of love, and routine into ritual. Part 6. The phone call. You are one phone call away from everything changing. That is the absolute, terrifying, and liberating truth of your life. One phone call from the hospital. One phone call from the police. One phone call from your boss. In an instant, the entire tapestry of your normal life can be shredded. In that moment, every single problem you have right now, the bills, the deadlines, the political arguments, the social media drama, will evaporate like smoke. Your only thought will be, I would give anything to go back to 5 minutes ago, to go back to my boring, normal, stupid life. The Stoics, the cancer survivors, and the Japanese tea masters are all telling us the same thing. You are in 5 minutes ago right now. You are in the before picture. The life you are currently taking for granted is the very life you will one day beg the universe to have back. So here is the challenge. Don't wait for the tragic call. Act like it already came. Use the gift of your imagination, the same imagination you use to worry about the future and regret the past, to create a firewall of gratitude around your present. Contemplate your losses. Visualize your life in ruins. Feel the chill of absence. And then open your eyes. Look at the light in your room. Listen to the sound of the traffic, or the birds, or the silence. Feel the air enter your lungs. Think about the person you love most. It's all still here. You are still here. It is all a miracle, and it is all on loan. Welcome to the best day of your life.